All right, guys, it's been a while since I've made a video for you, and today, because it's been so long, I think I'm going to break down Section 8 for you. Like I said, man, I don't know, it's been a year or two since I've posted anything, but I am back, and I'm ready to start posting every day or two to give you guys lots more insight into the world of real estate investing, especially investing in lower income areas or areas where you can find great deals. Like for instance, my first property that I paid $9,500 for, rehab myself, and was all in with $15,000 when all was said and done. That house still rents for between $650 and $700 a month to this day, and I just want to help more people be able to do this. This is like a long-term retirement strategy. It's something that you can start doing when you're making very, very little money, because again, we're talking about a very small investment up front. So today, again, what I want to talk about is the process of getting set up with Section 8 and why I use Section 8 whenever I can. So, little background. Today, I had to deliver an eviction notice. And this is the third time that I've had to evict somebody within the past year. And you want to know what all three of those situations had in common, other than the eviction, of course, and that was none of them were on Section 8. With Section 8, there's a little bit of work that goes into setting it up, but you get paid every month. And typically they don't usually pay at all. There's usually $100 or $200 that the tenant is responsible for, depending on their situation. There may be times where they go without work and Section 8 will pay for the entire amount. I've had stretches of as much as a year at a time where Section 8 would pay for the entire rent. But for the most part, they're going to pay about 80% of it. Sometimes more, sometimes a little less. It just depends, again, on the situation. And I've never had to evict a Section 8 tenant, except for when they screwed up and got kicked off the program, and then they were responsible for the full amount. And the longest I've had anyone hold on to after that was maybe a year and a half before I had to evict them. So it does happen, but for the most part, it happens after they get kicked off of Section 8. So let's talk about the steps for a minute. And then we'll go a little further into some great things about Section 8. So with Section 8, the first thing that's going to happen, obviously you're going to post an ad, you're going to put some signs in front of your yard, you're going to want to let people know that you accept HUD or accept Section 8, and that will usually get you a lot of people calling in. Now the other thing that I do is I typically charge more, and I go ahead and put that in the ad. It's not like, oh, it's $900 a month if you're Section 8 or $750 a month if you're not Section 8. I just put it up for $900 a month or whatever the amount is that I'm renting it for, and that typically weeds out all the people that are not Section 8. I'm pretty sure it's illegal anyway to charge two different rates, one for cash, one for Section 8. So I'm not going after cash renters anyway. So I'll post that ad, start showing it. Usually I'm just flooded with people that want to look at the house very quickly. And the next thing that's going to happen is, if you choose a tenant, sometimes I've been asked for some odd reason to sign a lease before any of this was done, but normally you don't do that. Normally you're going to have them fill out a, a request for tenancy form, and there's going to be portions that they fill out and there's going to be portions that you fill out. You're going to take that down to your local Section 8 office, and you're going to also have them sign a lead-based paint disclosure, basically saying you don't know if there's a lead-based paint in the house or not. This is only for houses that were built, I think, prior to 1980, 1970 something. I don't remember exactly, but just have them sign something saying that they they've read a lead-based paint brochure and that you've made them aware you don't know if there's lead-based paint in the house or not. You'll take those two things, or you'll have the tenant take those two things to the Section 8 office, the closest one in the area that handles the house that you're currently renting out. And the next thing that's going to happen is they are going to set up an inspection. Now, they can take a long time to do this if you don't bug them a little bit, but you have to be really careful how you do bug them, because if you piss them off, then they're going to find every single possible thing that they could find wrong with your house, and you're going to have a real hard time. So I'm always super nice, super easy to get along with, but not over the top. I'm not going to bring donuts to the inspection. And what's going to happen is I typically like to be there. I like to have my tools with me, and if there is something, I like to try and fix it when they bring it up. And looks like my battery's dying. Let me go ahead and plug up real quick before. All right, we're all plugged up. So I've done, one of the things that I've done in the past, other than just trying to be present and trying to get that inspection knocked out right away, and tried to fix things during or right after the inspection, tried to get the inspector to come back within a couple hours if it was an easy fix. The other thing that I have done that I would not necessarily recommend, but it has worked well for me in the past, I'll actually sometimes move the tenant in before the inspection. This can obviously backfire because they're not going to retroactively pay you for any time that the tenant was in the house before the inspection passed. But in my experience, they try to get in and get out a lot faster when the tenant is present already. So that is something that you will want to consider, but you're taking a risk is the bottom line. I mean, they could say, you're going to have to do $15,000 worth of work before we approve this house, and you might not want to do that. The whole point was to get into a house for between $10,000 and $20,000, not $20,000 to $35,000. So do that with that whatever you will. But again, just to recap, so far we've got the request for tenancy approval, the lead-based paint disclosure. Take that to the office. Then there's an inspection. After you pass your inspection, you are going to have to sign what is called a HAP contract. You'll go into the office, you'll fill it all out, or you can get a copy and send it to them, whatever that might be. You'll go ahead and sign a lease, and then either way, you're going to have to go into the office eventually, because you're going to have to bring in a copy of your ID, a copy of a warranty deed. You might have a couple other deeds that you can turn into them. I don't think they accept a quit claim deed, but you'll bring in a copy of your deed, copy of your ID. What else? A copy of the signed lease, and you're going to need a W-9. And you can probably sign the HAP contract then, actually. They'll probably want to review your lease, so they might even ask for the lease before you sign the HAP contract. And the other thing is, they might tell you that you're charging too much. That's okay. I typically start out, asking for more than I think I'm going to get. And if they knock it down a little bit, then they knock it down. For instance, my second house, I think it was, I wanted to find out how much I could get for the house. So I started out, I think I might have asked for like $1,000 in an area that the median rent was about $750. Nobody really signed up for that, so I dropped it down to $950. Got someone to work with me, and I think they signed a lease for $900 a month. So then we went through the whole process with Section 8, and Section 8 came back, said everything looks good, the inspection's passed. We can only give you $854 a month for this property. Well, that's fine. The median rent is $750 in the area. I'm good with that. And that's one of the things about working with Section 8. People always talk about how, they tore up my house, they did this, they did that. Well, one, you shouldn't be installing granite countertops in your rental properties anyway, especially if you're in the areas that I'm investing in. But two, if they do mess a few things up, well, you're charging a premium, so you'll be able to get it fixed, and you're also getting paid steadily every single month. So that's kind of just a brief rundown of getting set up with Section 8. Let me just demonstrate real quick for you another, I'm just going to show you, because this is what I do in all my videos, show you a property. This one is in Jackson right now. It's for sale by owner, $16,000. You could probably knock him down to, you know, $13,000, $14,000. You know, if you're lucky. Let's just take a quick look at what we're working with. You know, fairly decent house, got a nice play area in the back. I like the fact that they have a nice you know, system for protecting the AC. I would probably beef it up even a little bit more, but you know, all in all, a nice system for protecting the outdoor unit. And interior, we have some paneled walls. Not very easy to punch a hole through these. So and also, you never have to worry about painting them. Every time you move someone in or out, you just clean them really well, and you know, you're gonna have to paint. I don't know what you'd have to do with these floors. You might get away with you know, cleaning them really well. You might have to sand them down, you know, but either way, it doesn't look like there's a lot to be done to this house other than some cosmetic things. Obviously, you would have to look at it in person to see. Who knows if there's any kind of plumbing or wiring, but typically in this particular area, unless there's some major foundation issues, you might have yourself a good house on your hands. So and then as far as, you know, the median rent, you know, I pulled it up. I'm not going to do the whole process like I do in a lot of my other videos, but you can see the median rent is $738. Obviously, they have some lower ones. This one, or higher ones. This one's $850, and you got some, you know, lower ones, $675. So, but in this area, this is a nice radius. It's only 0.75 miles, so there's a lot of listings in this area that they can kind of pool together and get a nice average of what you can expect. Now that is, you know, that's cash. That's if someone's paying cash for the most part. I pulled up rent range. You can see that the, you know, on the low end we're talking 600, median 750, and then high end 900. But look way up here for Section 8. $1,100. Now that's going to include utilities. Typically, it seems like it's about $100 worth. So, you know, Section 8 might pay as much as $1,000 a month for this property. That's $250 more than the median rent according to rent range, and that is why I love working with Section 8. Guys, so I've got something pretty special for you. I'm going to put a link in the description below, and anybody that wants this, I'm going to give you access to an extremely rare video. This is a video that I made before I bought my first house, when I was making plans with my wife and we were dreaming together, and we went and we looked at this house and we were coming up with our plan for real estate investing. You can see a lot of the mistakes that I made when I was trying to figure out how much everything was going to cost and what I was going to need to replace, and you can see a before and after of you know what it was like during the process of fixing it up, or before we fixed it up, and what it was like afterwards, and just some extra insights. I'm hoping that it will be very motivational for you. So I'm going to put the link to that video in the description below. This video is not going to be available to the general public. It is only for the people that watch this video, or maybe another video where I've linked to the description, or linked to it in the description. So it's only going to be for you guys that do that. And until next time, I think the next thing I might talk about is how I build capital to purchase these properties. We'll see. So I will see you guys here really shortly.